Happy Labor Day, everyone, and welcome to Where Is Your Heart? Championing vulnerability as a core human strength. Hello, Royce.
Hi, Teresa.
I remembered to turn on the camera and mic this time.
Look at that. We even got voiceover. Look at us go. We're doing the things.
We're doing the things. So how did you spend your day today?
Let's see. I did jujitsu for 2 hours, and then I read a book for my podcast for next week. This 330-page thing that I love the author, but like a huge chunk of it was very much the academic, like, oh, fuck. I'm going to be wading through cement today. So
so this should be interesting.
Yes, there you go. But it was also awesome. So, you know, whatever. It's good stuff. Yeah. How about you? What'd you get up to?
I'm not gonna lie. I spent most of my day napping and watching The Walking Dead. I was just
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Questionable life choices there.
I'm trying to catch up. Like, I started watching it. I really didn't plan. I really didn't plan to like this show. I didn't watch it when it was on air. But then I found out there was like a final season, and I saw an episode, and I was like, damn, this ain't bad. And before I know it, I'm in season 6, and I'm trying to figure out who Negan is. But I think I know who it is.
Negan's the fucker. That's when I got off the bus.
Yeah, is he the bat guy? Is that Negan?
Just
see,
watch.
See, nobody ever told me. But that's okay.
There was an episode in there where I was just like, and I'm done with the show.
Nope. Well, everybody has said that, you know, it was around season 7, 8 that it was like jumping the shark. Like, it took a lot of strength to hold on, and a lot of people dropped out by that point. So yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna hold out. But yeah, I was watching that and Supernatural, catching up on the final season of Supernatural. And I have to say, Royce, I saw a post a while back where you, like, how are you even asking questions about how did they change their clothes when they don't have any like luggage except guns in the trunk? I'm like, you can't be cerebral with Supernatural. Like, you just watch it and enjoy.
There's certain shit that you gotta have continuity on. And these fucking idiots just showing up, and I'm enjoying the show. It's my throwaway show when I'm like working out or whatever. But like, there's certain things that you just can't, like, no. And when it's the same goddamn suit, like, really? Like, you know, he carried that shit around somehow.
But you gotta keep in mind, they're not like wearing the same suit in the same place. So it's not like these people are like, hey man, you were wearing that suit last week. Because they weren't there.
Oh, that's fine. But that means they had to carry it from that place to that place. And it ain't fitting in his little fucking duffel bag.
Oh, Royce.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're so adorable.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will say that, you know, this day did turn out, it's a Red Solo Cup day. So have to make myself a guest. So while I had a really relaxing day, there were still, you know, life things I had to deal with, but I'm going to make it through. It's going to be all right.
You will.
And before we start diving into our topics for today, just a reminder, while you're watching us, take this moment to click the like button while you're watching and subscribe to the channel, because we would like that, and notification bell so you know when we are going live. So you like when I do that, don't you?
I do. Especially when I'm still looking for the thing for today. Oh, no, it's not there. Okay. See,
he's still looking for bios. Okay,
I'm missing everything.
Looking, I'm going to go to the comments.
There we go.
Here. Royce ordered barbecue. Right. You know he can't cook. What you got?
Okay.
What? Oh, he called you out.
Dr. Gaddis, we have words here. Number 1, you need to come to New Mexico. Number 2, I will make barbecue for you.
Ooh.
And number 3, I would gladly make the tacos that I made the other night again as well.
Those tacos look good.
Yeah,
those look good.
It was a little underdone, but that's okay. Like flank steak, you don't want to overdo it. So
you don't. Then you're just eating, cardboard. So yeah, I thought that looked good. That looked good.
It was. Yeah.
And of course, Nina's back with us. Welcome back. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you. So let's see. I guess we're gonna do the thing that we love so much when it comes to the show.
Oh shit! You're going first this week.
What he means is gratitude section of the program.
Oh God!
Gosh.
All right,
that was great. And he loves this section. But yes, okay. So I will go first. I'm like totally trying to remember what my week was like, but I think I can come up with one. So, I made a major change during COVID when it came to my businesses of changing my graphic design and printing business to a branding agency. But not only that, really changing who it is I work with. And it's been a blessing, actually. I am less stressed when it comes to work. I don't put up anymore with like people contacting me at 11:30 at night to do work, thinking that they should because they're paying me. Yeah, and it's just really, working with people that want to work just as hard as I do. I love it. So I am grateful for my clients with the Bliss Effect. Been grateful with the magazine. I'm grateful work-wise overall, and just being able to still call the shots after 20 years. Like, I can't even imagine working for somebody at this point. I don't know if I'd be the greatest team member. Like, I'm a team player, but I will bring up if something's like not right.
Well, see, I think that's the thing. Like that's where joining someone else's team, you're like, now what kind of a douchebag are you?
Exactly.
Right? Because I got to be honest, I've worked in a lot of places, and a lot of them were assholes. So, like, yeah.
Well, it's quite.
If I'm gonna work for you. You better be a good human being.
And it's interesting, these bosses that talk about that they want employees that are, well, I want you to be part of the team and feel like you could tell me like if something's wrong or if we can, improve on something. And it's like, but you really don't create an environment like that because you're creating individuals, and if they're working for you, it's structured in a certain way that they can't feel like they can do that. So
yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy in the spot I'm in.
Oh, I'm grateful. So there.
Okay, you're
all right.
up.
Also,
you just get that up.
Okay, but Vincent is over there again.
Yep.
And here it is.
You come to Chicago, and I'll whip up a grill fest for you. What does a grill fest consist of? That's what I
don't know, but I'm gonna go find out. That's for damn sure.
Oh shoot! Oh, okay. Because I know you're thinking, I do have to give a shout out to my Aunt Kalita. I got a taste of home this week. She sent me and my brother a care package. I got to have a coconut tart that my grandmother used to make. I haven't had it in years.
Oh my gosh!
It was wonderful. And she also sent a couple of bottles of Virgin Island rum. So it's a company out in the Virgin Islands that makes it, both the dark and light. Oh my goodness, it was good. So thank you, Auntie.
Oh my gosh, hell yeah. Is she adopting?
Honestly, she adopted one of my friends right on the spot.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Zenda. So who's Zenda? Do you know Zenda?
She is the spouse of TL.
Awesome. Well, nice. Yep. Thank you for tuning in.
And she's somebody we're going to be talking to at some point. We got to get her on the show.
Yay!
She's up to some badassery down there in Florida.
I'd like to hear some badassery. Oh, so good badassery in Florida? Because that would make a difference.
It would. Let's talk to Floridians who have brains.
Mm-hmm. That would be such a treat. I want to do that.
I can't bag on the whole state, though. I know some wonderful people in Florida. So, yeah. All right.
Okay, so now it's your turn. What are you grateful for?
Damn it. I was thinking we'd just skip it. I'm grateful that I'm going to stand up and turn on this light. No, gratitude. Let's see. Well, I guess, you know what? I'm grateful for... I'm really grateful for the classwork I'm getting to do this semester. I told you guys last week that, it was cool and all, but the book that I'm doing a presentation on next... So I read 2 books in the last 2 days. is one of those that just like grabbed me by the guts and was like, oh my God, I have a book that's reshaping all of my shit again. So yay, good. And really doing like it's giving me a lot of metaphors for the kind of work that I want to do in that space. So yeah, I loved it. It was super good.
I still got to give it up to you to read that you read. So I'm like, I can't even remember the last book I read, and you like read 5 of them in like 2 days.
How many children you got in your house?
Now?
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, all right. Let's just say I got one. He's 22. He feeds himself. I get to hang out with him instead of like having to be like, I'm grab this one by the hair and that one by the arm, and I'm gonna feed that one with my toes. Cause
I know I said last week that I've kind of given up on the whole idea of a clean house, and but I still feel that way. But it was nice. It was kind of clean today. So yay! Ooh. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. But yeah. I guess you made a good point. They'll read still. I mean, even reading one of their books is still reading.
All right, so apparently I'm wrong. By the way, Zenda's not from Florida, so I'm all kinds of confused now, and now I need to be straightened out. I can't wait for this. This is gonna be good.
She's like, she told you.
See? Oh my gosh! All right, what are we doing?
So did you find the email?
No, I didn't.
Okay, hold on. So you banter. Talk to the people.
Me banter?
Yes, you're going to banter.
All right. See, Zenda, that's where I thought. I thought you lived there. That's all right. Okay. I did not mean to make it sound like she was from there. My apologies there. But Zenda is living in Florida, bringing the IQ up.
So I will. Then I'll touch base on the fact that I did. Wait, is that Texas? Texas and Florida. I'm telling. They're starting to look alike. So I'm not sure which one came up with this nifty law that essentially bans.
Oh, that's Texas.
Oh, yeah. That's Abbott, right?
Yep.
So that's also the state that's dealing with their high levels of COVID in schools, and teachers have now decided they're going to have everybody wear masks.
Yeah.
All right, just want to make sure that was it.
Yeah. All right, so if we're going to bag on Florida, I got to say other thing okay, but my favorite author is for Florida stuff is Carl Hiaasen. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know how the hell to say his name. He writes Florida crazy in a way that makes it lovable to me, which is super fucking hilarious and fun. And so anyway, there you go. That's
so Royce, I owe you a big apology.
Oh?
He's been trying to look for the bios for our guest right now. I have that email in drafts. It did not get sent. So now it just got, so that was on me. So it just got sent.
No, this is hilarious because every time we go through this, it's just in my inbox and somehow I opened it but didn't because I track mail in my emails by leaving them unread. And then I know that I need to okay, shutting up. Let's move on.
Okay, so I just want to put these up.
This is why I don't do the banter part.
Yeah, so she just wanted to say, don't claim it though. Florida man is insane though. And I would rightfully agree. See, right? These people are insane and I agree. And what we have here, it's my shirt.
It is. Nicola needed a little cheering today, so there you go.
Look at that. Your shirt got airtime.
We're wearing it.
Yeah. So, are you good? You got it? Because you're going to do the first
I have
intro.
it in front of me. Oh, okay, the first intro.
You're going to do the first intro. Yeah, because we're
going to talk about the topic?
Yeah, we're going to talk about this week's topic.
Oh, there you go.
Right now. So,
that little heart logo looks so good down there.
Isn't that nifty?
say that.
Okay,
it is.
So we came up with this topic after a discussion I had with a friend online. Dealing with Lin-Manuel, who is the amazing guy who created Hamilton and In the Heights. And In the Heights got some backlash after not doing a full representation of Puerto Ricans and pretty much Hispanics that had taken part in the movie. and I got into a conversation with one of our guests tonight about it. And it was great because I could see both sides, but it did lead me to ask the question, who is responsible? Like, because Lin-Manuel cannot be responsible for all the people of Puerto Rico. Like, you just can't leave it all up to him. But it's representation in all communities, because I've seen this happen with every single community. And then it lands on the shoulders of the director and the producer, but it's the same person creating the content. So I just wanted to talk tonight about, like, why is it important and how do we change it? So
Yeah, and I think, like, it happens. It's happening with the current Marvel film, the one that's out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Shang-Chi, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
I can't remember any backlash over Crazy Rich Asians. But I think that one was that movie came out, like, everyone was just so fucking happy to have a movie that centered Asian life that, like, fuck any criticism, man. Just, like, let's tell a story.
And the majority of the people that handled that movie were, you know, part of the Asian community. So it wasn't some white person telling this story, which honestly, if it was, I think there would have been. I honestly think there would have been.
Well, and I think there's a different consciousness now, which is actually something I'm really glad for. Like, let's be critical. Let's talk about the importance of representation. We are in a place where that has teeth. So let's take it on. It's damn well better not be the end of the conversation. But
exactly.
That's a whole nother show. All right, so I'm reading this. Is that what I'm doing?
Yes, you are.
All right. Currently residing in Albuquerque, New Mexico, intuitive consultant and coach, multi-ethnic author, family champion, and a resilience master, Nikki Bruton-Phillips is devoted to being devoted to enjoying a silly, harmonious life with her family. She's the mother of 2 extraordinary, unique needs, now adult children. She recently co-founded and is the CEO of Connected Compass Limited Company, an intuitive consulting and coaching business. Her soul's calling is ensuring that children are always heard and their magical selves are nourished in the best way possible so they can easily stand in their power and walk their soul's purpose. The one thing she is most proud of outside of her kids is always going to be her resilience and the woman she has become. Let's get Nikki out here.
Hey, Nikki.
There she is.
You guys are cracking me up.
Well, that's good, because if you're going to spend an hour talking shit like this, you got to enjoy it.
You guys are killing me.
Yay.
And Nikki, I'm gonna have you talk about the book, which also led to another conversation. So we'll be talking about that, which is why it wasn't in your bio, because we'll be discussing it. But I'll go ahead and introduce our next guest. Brad Howard is a queer actor of stage and film who specializes in the arts of clowning and drag. He sometimes can be seen performing around town as his alter ego, Chastity Beltoff. So let's bring Brad on. Hello,
Yay!
Brad.
Hello.
I love his alter ego.
Royce's headband. My hair is driving me crazy right now, so I might hold on.
It's like, no, I gotta.
Oh, yes! Yes!
Here we go.
We've got it.
Solidarity with Royce. There we go. Little headband action.
Oh my gosh.
That one looks comfy too. See, that's always my complaint about headbands. They suck. They give me a headache. But that's all I can do. Like, this doesn't go in a ponytail yet. It is uncontrollable.
It will run wild if he takes that thing off.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it happen before. Okay, I want to make sure I get these comments. So, Nikki, applause for your shirt. I'm sure that's what that was for. And love.
Yay, Zenda.
All righty.
All right.
Representation in film and print. I'm going to bring this across because after the conversation I had with Nikki. So I'm actually going to bring up, Nikki brought up in her bio, she actually is a published author. Congratulations.
Yay!
Yes, happy, yes. And she was one, well, so let me rephrase. She was the only ethnic person to write in this book. There were 11 authors and only one of any. I'm just kind of like, how? How does that happen?
Pretty easily.
Yeah, and on the other part of that is I don't know if it was intentional, and then there's like that piece, right? Like, okay, so if it wasn't intentional to bring you in as kind of the token,
It's always intentional because not looking is intention.
yeah, exactly. And
Right?
then that's the other piece, right? And so it's like you just assumed because of my skin color, because of my hair, because of the way I speak, you just assumed that I fit this box. And I far from, And then when I'm writing and it's coming to like publication and it's at the editor and there's like this pushback of, oh, well, no, that's how my family speaks. I'm not going to correct that. Like,
oh, wow.
Being asked as a young child, one of the pieces in the book is part of my childhood, and it's talking about, I got picked on a lot when I was really little, and I was made fun of because my mom looked white, but she's half white, half Native American, and my father is Puerto Rican, and he's very light, but he has an afro. My grandparents on his side were darker Puerto Ricans. So when I was in school, kids would, well, is your mom a whore? Why do you look like that? Is your dad, my mom said your dad's a nigger, like brought up the N-word. And I was like 5, 6 years old.
Oh my God.
I had no clue. My mom didn't know how to prepare me for that. She never even thought that would come up.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a thing for her. So yeah. Then when I'm writing and, it's in editing and stuff and these things are coming up and they're like, well, can you say that? And I'm like, this is my story. Like it's,
Keep your whitewash in the fucking can.
It's quite interesting how quickly they want to like silence the voice if it's not fitting their narrative. And it's like, but that's the whole point of this book. How are you silencing somebody's voice? And I find it interesting that was the name of the book. So I'm like, wow.
And it was, as things came up, like I started looking around the room at the other authors and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, there are things that we all connect and mesh, and when you read the stories you can see why we all kind of were brought together, but then there's just like this piece where all of a sudden I found myself feeling like that kid again, where it was like, you're not white enough, you're not black enough, you're not Hispanic enough, you're not Native enough. And it was like, oh shit, okay, wow, I haven't felt like this in a long damn time. But yeah, all of a sudden you're in this space and it's like, the authors in the book are amazing women. Like I love them all. But it's like there's this small disconnect for me. Like,
yeah.
So.
Okay, so this is actually on topic for tonight, just for the record. What happened when that? So this was happening in front of them, in front of the other authors.
No. It was all, because we're all over the world.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of emails back and forth, and there were multiple editors looking at my writing.
Yeah.
One of the pushbacks I got, my daughter is transgender.
Yeah.
And so like there were people who knew that she had been born a male. And so it would constantly be switched, like the terminology, how she was identified would get switched. So it wasn't just like color and race. It was
you being silenced, like
Yeah.
actively. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or actually corrected. Yeah.
Yeah, corrected basically. And
God.
it was no. I am grateful though for the publisher who was
thank
like
God.
the final author on the book, and she contacted me, and she and I have become friends and had multiple conversations, and she's like, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate that you have brought such diversity into my life and opened my eyes and really gotten me to think and pay attention to my authors more, and what their voice is, what they're representing, so I appreciate that woman so much.
Yeah.
And a lot more publishers like that are needed. I would say that.
And I've had people come to me, now that I'm writing my own books, I've had people, well, why don't you find a Hispanic publisher? Why don't you find a Puerto Rican publisher? Why don't you find a Black publisher? Why don't you find a Native American publisher? And I'm like, because then the rest of me gets left out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've talked to some of those people, and they're like, oh, well, you really don't, I'm not Black enough.
Yeah. Then we're back to that story again.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I like the publisher that published this book. I'll keep working with her. But yeah, it's a mess out here in like the media world. It's a fucking shit show. Like, diversity is just, I'm excited about Reservation Dogs because it's taking place in Oklahoma, which is where my tribe's from. Like, I get excited about that shit. I watch it every week. I laugh my ass off, but I sit here and I'm like, this is sad that this is the only show that we have.
Especially with the diversity within within indigenous peoples in this country, like the variety is fucking massive.
Yeah.
Just within the state, it's massive. Like, to say nothing of nationally.
Yeah.
God.
So, Brad, have you had any encounters being a queer actor that you had to, I guess, the best way I could put it is like a Black person being told, can you be less Black or more Black? Like, no shit, that is a real thing. That is a real thing.
Yeah, but could you be less gay? Could you?
Yeah, that was
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, and that's and the answer is no. No, I can't be. I mean, yes, I'm an actor. Yes, I play characters, but I think growing up in the 80s and 90s, seeing people like me on TV, I did not see. Except for Teresa, I think I told you this story. It was Boy George. Mm-hmm. So that's why when you took me to the Boy George concert and we went backstage and I met him and I cried on him, it's because that was a real moment. I mean, he was the one thing that made me not feel like I was alone. Because I felt like this little girly kid, a little girly boy. So I think so that's the thing about representation is when we see people that are like us in the media, or we read stories that are similar to our own. It makes us feel like we're not alone in the world, and that's why it's important.
Yeah,
to me for sure. But yeah, I definitely get a lot of the hey, could you, it's like, could you butch it up? Is what I get a lot.
Oh, could you butch it up? That's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh.
And sure, I could butch it up, but I'm. I know why, but Butch is always Jersey for me. I don't know why.
I was gonna say. I feel like I'm back in Providence.
Like what?
You gonna pass me the Sharpie marker?
Get a water for my daughter.
Apparently, we are making fun of states today. That's what we're doing.
That's what we do. That's what
So how do you feel when you see? This is one of the examples off the top of my head that I can think of. I mean, when I talk about that, it can't be left on the shoulders of like one person to handle the representation.
Yeah.
I got really excited when I want to say it was Gus Van Sant that did it. Stonewall, who did it? The latest Stonewall movie. I think it was him, but it was it was somebody in the LGBTQ community, and it was probably one of the. I'm sorry, I'm thinking there was another Stonewall movie, but it was not a well represented film. There were so many things that were off. So
especially when you neglect the trans and the people of color community, when you think about Stonewall, which that they were that's who started it was black trans women. I'm googling that real quick so we can find out the name of that person.
Yes, because I want to make sure I have that right. But that was one of the things. I mean, it seemed.
See, and I'm trying to find a quote from a book I just read, just for the record.
Yeah, so it seemed very much like they were.
It's in the Dustin Lance Black.
Dustin Lance Black. Yeah, and see, that's why I was excited.
And I love him.
Yeah, and it was so. Well, I'm sorry, it was whitewashed. You're absolutely right. It's like, there were like, more than one black person there and a lot more trans people. And, that's what started that revolution. And it's just they get completely ignored. So, I mean, how do you feel when you see something and that was a major film that was on screen? How do you feel when you see something like that?
Just like you. I mean, it's like, wait. This is not if you're trying to do even a fictionalized account of it, you still gotta to make it grounded in reality. You gotta show the reality.
You have to capture the spirit. And
exactly.
The spirit was people who were intersecting in oppressions every which way, like, and who had nothing left, and who said, "Fuck you, I will stand," because that's it. Like, what else am I gonna do? Mm-hmm. Like, it's this or die. Well,
that if you think about people of color that were trans at that point in time, I mean,
in this point in time, right?
Yeah, at this point in time too. But it's even more. I mean, it's still dangerous clearly because trans women are killed all the time. Trans women of color are killed all the time. But so for those people to stand up at that point in time was monumental and huge. So why not make a movie about highlighting that?
Especially being part of that community. That's the one thing I never seem to understand. When these movies are done, it's like, if you're going to do it, go all the way. That's exactly what they did. That's what you should be doing. Now, as I said before, Nikki and I had a discussion, and it happened a few months ago. In the Heights was on HBO Max and also in theaters. A lot of people were excited to see it. Funny enough, still didn't watch it. But it wasn't because I didn't want to. I just didn't get around to it. But I will. The story came out that a lot of Puerto Rican descendants were upset about the representation. There wasn't enough representation of all Puerto Ricans in the film.
Which is really fucking. Let's acknowledge the difficulty there, because Puerto Rican ancestry is so beautifully mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of the things I love about Puerto Rico, like the very little bit that I know about Puerto Rico, right, is that you just have amazing variety in this island, and culturally the fun stuff that happens because of that. Anyway, it's yeah.
So I thought to myself, totally understood. I understood where they were coming from. The part that I got upset about was this need to make Lin-Manuel the focus of why people aren't being represented. And and honestly, I feel like there's been a lot of people that have come out of Puerto Rico that have done a lot to enhance that island, of just, acknowledging that there were talented people coming off that island. I remember when Ricky Martin first started with Menudo, and then of course, exactly, who's that? And then, of course, Jennifer Lopez, and who else? Oh goodness, what's her name? I should have wrote these down. But there's been a lot of people who've come from Puerto Rico that have done a lot. But with Lin-Manuel, I mean, you're talking, Broadway, music, like it's a huge gamut that he's covered. And I can understand why he became almost like the scapegoat of, we need to point the finger at somebody, so we're going to point it at him.
Well, for one, leave my future husband alone. Leave him alone.
Well, and I think, I mean, if there's a legitimate edge to this, to me, it's that anyone who can cast Hamilton with the way he did, it sets the expectation that you can find the people to do this right.
Yep.
And I think that's the 2% truth that people are hanging on, is we know that you can do this because we saw you do it over there.
You see, and I felt the same way, but then when I saw, and I said this earlier, I posted an article on Facebook about the whole thing. And there was a photo. And their complaint was that there wasn't any dark-skinned representation in the film. And in that photo alone, there was like 3 or 4 people that were. And I was like, so is it that there wasn't enough? That it should have been the main? It should have, so
yeah, or
I'm
weren't prominent enough.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Where should the anger lie? Should the anger lie that he didn't put, that he should have put 20 in the movie? That he should have made the whole cast dark skin? Like, where do we balance it? But of course, I know it's going to come out to you can't please everyone.
But also, he didn't direct the movie.
Oh,
he didn't.
No, I just Googled it. It's John Chu directed the movie, so he's not even in charge of casting if he's not the director.
That even makes it worse. That even makes it worse.
I didn't think he directed. That's why I had to look it up real quick before I spoke, because I didn't want to, be that guy.
I know he actually wrote it and handled it.
So really, we're just blaming the token.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're blaming the yeah. So
but
yeah.
Nikki, share what we talked about when it came to that, of how you broke it down, because honestly it was pretty fair.
So I see all sides of it. I really do. There's still a thing in Puerto Rico. I mean, it's just like being black and you're lighter skinned, or you're not, you're too black.
Colorism's real.
The same thing happens in Puerto Rico. My father got treated one way because he's hazel eyes, he's light skin, versus his sister who got treated another way, who looks very Afro Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And so I get where it's like, there is this piece of being Afro-Hispanic where it's like, where do I fit?
Yeah.
Because if you go to the black community, because that's who you look like, but then your voice, the way it doesn't match, then it's like, well, no, you're kind of encroaching on our thing.
Yep.
There's this whole, so there's a pushback there. And then when they go to their own community, they go to the Hispanic community, the Latino, Latinx, like that whole thing is, I mean, we have the largest in my own family. I have uncles and stuff that are like, why is there an X? I don't know why we need an X. We don't need an X, And I'm like, okay, I can't have this, but you go to that part and they're like, you're dark. That's not okay. There was this whole thing where if you could hide being black, my father used to tell me when I was little, don't tell people you're black.
Yeah.
Don't. I did wonder if you had a situation of that you had to, in a sense, blend in.
Mask.
Yeah, mask who you really are when you were younger.
Well, and then, when it was like, my mom was trying to get me, because my grandmother on her side was like, you always have to know where you come from. You know, you're all of these pieces of you, and it's important that you know them. And it's funny that the white side of the family was like, you have to know all these pieces of you. So, you know, I see what's going on with the whole In the Heights thing, where it's like, they're tired of being oppressed. They're tired of being shunned. You know, let's hide that one. Let's not. So it's, let's come out. Well, then you would think that Lin-Manuel would bring them out, but then we don't all look like J-Lo. We don't all look like Rita Moreno. We don't all look like Ricky Martin, which are all really kind of the lightest of us. You know, we don't all look like that. Like, my kids are blonde hair, blue eyed. One looks very, I don't know, he looks more Germanic. That's probably his dad's side. I don't know. Anyway, but, you know, I see where both sides come from. I remember my grandmother being treated differently just among when she lived here. She was called my nanny. I was asked all the time if she was my nanny. Puerto Rican Spanish is different than what New Mexicans speak. So, you know.
Yeah, but New Mexico can't even agree on what kind of Spanish we speak. Like, we got people up in the mountains who still speak, like, 400-year-old versions of Spanish. So let's be real clear about that.
Yeah. So, you know.
So why crap on this?
She'd say they sounded like they were speaking in slow motion. She couldn't understand them. So I would translate when I was little.
Yeah.
Just, you know, to order chicken McNuggets at McDonald's. Like, and they would always ask, you know, oh, is that your nanny? Is that your...
I don't understand how people could be so blatant to ask that question. Oh my God.
I know. I'm like, you get off. Why are you asking a 3-4-year-old child, is that your nanny? Like, you know,
it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know,
when you're dehumanizing the other person because you're not talking to them directly.
Uh-huh.
You're asking a child,
just bypassing them completely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
Yep.
It used to make me angry when I was little. Like,
I could imagine.
I didn't know why it did, but it did. Like, I didn't get the racial pieces of it. I just knew that, like, somehow you were offending my grandma. You were hurting her feelings, and you were trying to take her away from me. Was how I felt. Was like, no, she's my grandma. Like, she takes care of me. She, you know.
The fact that you would even have to explain that at all.
Well, also mixed families are a thing.
Yes.
You know, like I told you, that my sister is Korean. She's adopted. She's Korean, and we love to go out together and just mess with people's heads. And she was like, "This is my brother," and then we don't say anything. We don't explain, and we just let them stand there and look confused. Because for one, it's none of your business. But for two, you know, so it's just
It's like, but I see where the pushback came, and then I found out that Lin-Manuel didn't direct it, and I was like, okay, that's going to be even worse. But then you hand your stuff over to somebody else to handle, and then it didn't get handled correctly, and then
exactly. And I do have to say, you know, he stepped up. He came out and said, you know, I learned to listen from this, and I definitely will do better. I mean, he could have done what Sia did when she deflected when she did when she did music and brought Maddie Ziegler on to play the lead, who isn't autistic, and then kind of excused away the actress she did have who was autistic, and made it seem like, well, you know, it just didn't work with her. And see, this is what I mean. You can't work with autistic actors, and it's just like, but it's not about you. I mean, for somebody to create a movie like that, if she just wanted to have it be a big on-screen music video, like a 2-hour-long music video, just be honest and say that. But if you're going to come out and say, I wanted to show a representation of the autistic community, then you damn well better work with the community to make sure that film is accurate. And and I feel like that was a real disservice. But I mean,
And
at
here
least-
we're talking about a
It's a
different
budget.
show.
yes.
It's a cop out because really, like, I'm sorry, Dan Aykroyd's on the spectrum. Jerry Steinfeld's on the spectrum. So clearly there are actors out there who could have, you know, yes, they're older, but I'm saying.
But the point is, there are people that can do it. Yeah, there are actors that can play.
It is never that there wasn't somebody from that community. It's never it. It's that you didn't fucking do your goddamn job and go fucking relate to that community and find out who would have fit this role. You'd have had plenty of selection. Like, yeah.
I came.
We don't have, like,
out.
it comes back to that same thing, you know, why aren't there more women CEOs? Well, there weren't any women qualified. Then you fucked up.
That you didn't work hard enough to
Then you
search for
weren't,
them.
yeah. The bottom fucking line. Like, that means that was a failure on your part, buddy.
I'm even looking at films that in television shows. I came across a Facebook post of a show in Facebook Watch, a radio show. Gentlemen, the topic was things that Black television shows get wrong. And one of the reasons is that there's a lot of white people behind the scenes that work on these shows. And so they made a list. And one of them that I thought to myself was, yeah, that is right. They went and said, how is it that a Black person always coming out of the shower with, like, you know, they come right out of the shower, get dressed and ready to go. They don't put on any lotion. They don't put on, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I gotta get out of the shower, put on some coconut butter lotion. Like, I just can't be like, I will be ashy within 5 minutes. Like, it's just these realistic things that happen in real life.
You get ashy.
I know. Brad knows. He's seen it. It happens.
We were doing a podcast, and one of the comments was told you to fix your ashy elbow.
Exactly. Yep. And I was like, damn, I ain't got no lotion. So yeah, I found it funny. So now everybody's looking. It's like nitpicking. Like, it's great that now there's people that are behind the scenes that are of the race that's being represented, or the community itself, if it's LGBTQ. That's great. But there still seems to be, like, now they're getting real, like, Black people don't go to bed. Black people just don't go to bed and let their hair run wild. You know, like, there's like stuff they have to do to prepare.
The conversation's getting deeper. Yeah, the conversation's getting deeper. It's getting more in depth. Like whenever I would watch Queer as Folk, I'm like, oh, they're just gonna have sex just like that. I'm like, wait, it's not that simple.
It's like they just left all that part out. They're like, we only have this much time.
Did you just? All right. So I gotta admit here, like, I've been struggling with this because reading this book. All right, so what we've been talking about with representation is all in the realm of identity politics, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about who the labels that we wear as our identity. And one of the books that I just read, I love what it did with asking us to begin examining these things through the technologies at play. And I don't mean like the fucking iPad on my lap. The technologies of law, the technologies of culture, the technologies that exert the pressures that actually do the whitewashing, right? And I loved that because it answers the question that we asked with this show, you know, who's responsible, in some very different ways, because it starts to suggest that we as consumers can actually begin fucking this shit up by deliberately finding shows outside of Hollywood, outside of, you know, first world cinema or even second world cinema, like not just independent, but like, oh God, I wish I could remember the name of the anyway. Okay. See, this is where I'm not great, but she did her quote from her podcast was, you know, doing a movie on $2 in a paperclip. You know, so we're talking like, and this is the beauty of being able to have direct access through things like YouTube or TikTok or whatever. How do we find creators who are just human beings doing shit that's good, and shit that matters? So it is not just the director's fucking job. It's our job as consumers. It's our job as actors and actresses, as set people. It's our job to fuck this shit up. And until we do, it will not change. That's and the bottom line is we live in a capitalist system. So,
well, I will say for those directors, producers, writers that are sitting at home that want to do it, that are just like, I could do that. I encourage you then to do it, because your community is calling on you to do so. Like if you have a story to tell and it's your story, tell the story, because it only expands on educating everybody on what someone has been through, what their differences are, because the more we know about our differences, we can focus on the similarities. So that's where I see it, that I would really love to see more people standing up and saying, you know what, I think I'm going to go and do this myself. I'm going to create my own series. I'm going to write my own book. I'm going to, whatever it is that shows a clear representation of your community, even if it's ugly, do it. Don't leave it up to other people to tell your story.
I found the person I was talking about, by the way, Ava DuVernay. Ava DuVernay.
Oh, we love her.
She's the one that said, it's because I can always, I know I can always make something on $2 in a paperclip, always. And there she's talking about, so even though, she has more funding and options now, but she's like, I don't need to be beholden to it. Like, you do not have my soul, because I know that I can always go make this fucking movie on $2 in a paperclip. So, so there's a whole podcast episode about that that I think is titled $2 in a paperclip. But anyway, I don't remember everything. There it is. That's why I have good notes. But yeah, I mean that's what's so. I mean, to return to where we started from, why are you not working, Nikki, with a publisher of more of ethnic origins or whatever? Well, the bottom line is, here's the thing: it is not your job to teach fucking white people that there's more variety in life, right? It's not your job. And if you have found a relationship that works for you, where you also get to do that work, I think there's something important there. Not to put the burden on your shoulder, because it's not your fucking job. Let's just keep repeating that. Keep repeating, white people. It's not her job.
Somewhere I was like, it's funny, because when Teresa put up the post about Lin-Manuel and everything, I was like, really? You know what my bitch is about it? Here's my bitch about it. I am tired of seeing Puerto Ricans being depicted as the only thing we can do is either we sell drugs, we move drugs, or we sing and dance. I'm tired of being the song and dance person.
I mean, that goes all the way back to West Side Story.
Well, shoot, that's exactly why I thought I could just do tap dancing when I started doing dance classes. First time I put on tap shoes, I was like, I'm black, I could do this.
Yeah, I'm black, I could do this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Black people were always same thing. Drug dealers, murderers, or dancers and singers. That's we could cook. That's the other thing.
Why aren't we writers? Why aren't
prostitute? Funny, quirky neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh God,
the best friend, the desexualized best friend.
Yeah.
Desexualized. Oh Jesus. Well, and
because the gay neighbor on the show could be gay, but they can't have a sex life.
Yep.
No, you're just supposed to be funny gay, not a real person.
Don't bring
gay.
anyone home. Don't. No.
Mm-mm.
What? You have somebody? We heard you through the wall. Meanwhile, the straight ones have a swing and I don't know, a whole beating up room set up or some shit. I don't know.
Little dungeon.
Oh my God.
I also, the other bit to me that I have to bring up is, if we're going to talk about Puerto Rico this much, I also have to put out there that this country has fucked Puerto Rico so badly that we can't even
get the paper
begin to
towels.
quantify it. Like right down to like people don't understand how this works because they think that Puerto Rico gets to vote in the national election or whatever.
No.
Yeah, all right. That forget everything you think you know about what we. There's like 7 people that rule Puerto Rico from this end of the fucking pond. Like it's a fucking complete and those people are right now, if I remember correctly, are all fucking bastardized business CEO military people. So like it's a complete rat fuck from start to finish of exploitation still. So maybe there's a reason Puerto Rico has said fuck you to statehood. Like we don't want a piece of that. I get it. But if that's the case, then we need to figure out what the responsible way to support Puerto Rico toward its own hopes, dreams, aspirations, other than just being a crack dealer or a dancer and singer, like, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
let's unfuck this, please.
Yep. I'm all for it. Like, I am all for it. I'm like, it gets very complicated when you start talking about the islands and you start talking about Puerto Rico and Cubans and Dominicans and Haitians, because they don't all get along.
No.
Like, I had friends.
And that's by design.
Oh, yeah.
I've had friends who were from Jamaica, and I can remember, like being at a party or whatever when we were younger in high school, and like the one kind of Becky, so to speak, that's at the party, and she makes a comment that she thinks is cute or funny, and one of their moms was like, "Oh no, I'm not a cotton picker. Don't. No."
Wow.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
That category. And it was, so I'm like,
oh, Becky, you gonna learn.
Exciting shit, just like in the LGBTQ. We have a cousin who I love. I live vicariously through this man's life because he has the fabulous gay life that I want for myself, I think. I don't know. White party, the whole thing. Like he travels all over the world. It's wonderful, beautiful men, always it's wonderful. But he doesn't believe that trans belongs we have enough letters. We don't need to add trans.
Holy crap.
We don't need to add a Q. We don't need to add, and I'm like, wow.
You mean you're saying we don't need to diversify. We need to,
We got ours.
Yeah.
We have ours. We don't need to add any more colors to the flag. We don't need to add. And I'm like sitting there, like, my daughter. Okay. Like, oh, wow. It's so it gets very complex. Like cultures and ethnicities. I work with families who are blended and they're culturally diverse, and it runs the gamut. Like I have the clients who they're white moms, but they have Hispanic or, mixed children, and they can't even begin to relate to how their kids are. And I sit there and I think, your kid sits there and watches white television all day, because that's what you watch. And there's nothing that reflects them. And if they do catch it, it's something on the news or something, So yeah, I think we have a responsibility as parents, as teachers, as educators, as just to start showing kids that they can, because you won't see it in film or on screen until.
And we don't just need to normalize it because we have ethnic kids in the classroom. We need to normalize it for fucking white kids too.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that I don't think, like, I can't even begin to state how many parts of me I am cut off from because they were not white enough. And they live in these other zones. They live in the gay zone. They live in the friends of mine who were black who introduced me to parts of myself I had never met. Like, let's be real fucking clear about what that is. So, yeah, we don't just have to do it for the folks that need to be represented who are in the room. We have to do it for the sake of getting white people to unfuck their whiteness.
Yep.
Yeah.
to learn that there's more out there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
There's more out there than just, who you are. I mean, and then that's the whole point of school, I think, is to socialize yourself around people that are different
Outside.
than you.
Exactly. Yes.
It's supposed to expose you and, not just expose you, but hopefully open you up and give you some understanding and compassion and curiosity to know more, like in a good way.
Yeah.
I have family members who, that they're very white. Very white, like just
mayonnaise.
Yes. And they, I have called people out for using, one time a topic came up when, all of the riots were happening and everything. A friend of mine posted something about how, she has a foreign exchange student from Australia that's staying with her, and he's Black. And he was asking her a legit question, am I safe here? Am I okay here?
No.
And she's white. Her husband's Hispanic. She uses her husband as the token, to get away with everything. That's her get out of jail free card.
Yep. I can't be racist. I'm married to someone who's Hispanic.
Yeah,
it's okay. I can say that. He's Hispanic. I have a Hispanic husband. It's okay.
I can't possibly, and so she's telling this kid, yeah, he's safe. And I went, you're fucking shitting me, right? Like, no.
Please at least ask your one Black friend.
No.
It does.
She has one. She has one.
Oh, I know she does. That's what happens to mixed. See, we become like the safe zone where it's.
Oh my God.
We're supposed to be all encompassing and understanding and all this. I'm like, no, bitch. Not today. I will be the first to be all, hey, colonizer. And guess what? I do have colonizer blood in me, like from the fucking Mayflower down. Like, it's very complicated in my little body, in my world. It really is. Like, my husband laughs because he's Iowa white. He's like second, third generation American. They're Norwegian, but he has some good looking Black men in his family. But damn it. I know I see the Black version of him and I'm like, wow.
She's like, can you get a tan?
Can you tan it up? But the rest of the family uses those to like, hey, it's okay because this one's Black or this one, and I'm like, no. That's not okay. Now, see, your wife doesn't extend that way, and theirs doesn't extend this way. Like, it's not, no, it doesn't work that way.
I'm just fascinated once again, like how in this country, the identity politics, which is considered a conservative thing, the rest of the world over, but in this country, it's considered liberal. That's how fucking far to the right we are. Like, this tool that forces us to claim under law an identity that is oppressed, it's all for the purpose of dividing us and keeping us fighting each other so that none of us wants to question why a dude with $1 billion needs to launch himself into space on a penis rocket. Like, why that is fucking legal. So I think that's the thing that I just... Yeah, wrenches me.
And before I make this comment, I just have to say he had to know. Like, he had to know that it was shaped like a penis, right? That was part of the whole travel, right?
Maybe he's just never seen one that big.
I would bet. I guess we're gonna go and make it shaped like a dick.
All right. Wait. So are you saying he's closeted? Oh, now this just became much more interesting.
I'm not saying it.
Brad, I will dream this dream with you, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay,
If
so
I'm gonna go, yeah, go for it, Teresa.
Go big, yeah. I was gonna say, Nikki shared what, because we're gonna have to wrap up soon. Nikki shared what she would like to see in terms of representation.
Oh yeah, good
when
call.
it comes to media. Brad, what would you like to see?
I think just more genuine stories of what my biggest complaint. I know I've talked to you about this before, is that whenever like a straight actor plays gay, they're always said that how they're so brave. They're so brave, and they get Oscars. Is how they're always described.
Mhm.
It was so brave of Tom Hanks to do Philadelphia. It was so brave of whatever. And I'm like, okay, if they're gonna start giving Oscars just because a straight man plays gay, then I want Neil Patrick Harris to win like for every time that he's straight. Or I'm just like I want to see And I'm not saying that all gay characters need to be played by gay actors, because that's the thing about being an actor. I feel like we should be able to portray different things, but until
but there's a threshold I feel like needs to be met.
Yeah, and until gay and trans actors are given roles, like I think it's a big step. There was a when there was a trans woman that she was starring in a movie, and she wasn't even playing a trans character. Yeah. She was just playing a woman
character.
She was playing a character, and until we're starting to until we're being looked at that way, that's what I want to see. I just want to see again just equal.
So kind of like the same thing of, and it's how I feel like I get excited whenever, I see a black actor win an Oscar or a Golden Globe. Like it's that's a great moment. But I would like that moment to just be this actor won this award.
Because it's a award.
Yeah, not the whole. Yeah. This is the first black actress to win this, or this is the first male actor to win. Like, I don't want.
Yeah, but the fact that we're still doing first, like, let's just keep kicking these cans over till we're done. Like,
exactly.
Just keep kicking the fucking things down.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just kind of like, that tells you something. That if first keeps coming up when an award is won, we're not. This country's not doing its job. This world's not doing its job.
So you mentioned the "you're so brave" thing. I heard that in the I was getting dressed in the locker room after jiu-jitsu a few weeks ago, and putting on I wear kilts and skirts all the time. Putting on my kilt, and some guy, is that a kilt? Like, and I'm like, really? Keep your eyes to yourself, motherfucker. You know the rules in here, right? So there's that part. I mean, like, I don't care, whatever. But and some other guy was commenting. We were having this whole conversation about tattoos because I'm tattooed head to toe, and somebody made a comment about that too. Well, I don't know about these guys. I'm like, we take care of each other's bodies out there on the mat every day, but we can't fucking give a shit about each other in here. So that's first off. But somebody was like, you wear a kilt every day? Like, that's brave. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You better not be one of those motherfuckers who wants to sing "Land of the Free" and "Home of the Brave" to me. I will punch you in the throat after that fucking comment. This is not brave. This is just fucking clothes, motherfucker.
It's like it's fashion.
So I was on a set of a show which will remain nameless, but I had to bring like wardrobe choices, and I had a jacket, and the wardrobe woman said, "Is that a woman or a men's jacket?" And I said, "It's my jacket. Do you like it, or would you like me to show you another option?" Because and she looked at me, and I said, "Clothing doesn't have a gender. Do you like the jacket, or do you want to see something else?"
Yep.
And I was being told I was being difficult, but I said it just like that. I said, "Oh, it's my jacket. Do you like it?"
Because it shouldn't matter. It should not matter if it's a man or woman's jacket. Oh my God.
McDonald's drive-thru. Do you want a boy's toy or a girl's toy? Well,
I want a toy. I was like, clothing doesn't have a gender.
Yeah,
it's a jacket. It's a motherfucking jacket.
And it's frustrating to hear that they look at you as being difficult instead of fucking thinking, "Hey, Miss Wardrobe Designer, maybe you should just focus on the clothes, not worry about if it's male or female. If it looks good on him, put them on the fucking set. That's your job."
Yeah. So that was why I was like, "Well, do you like it, or do you want to see something else?"
Yeah.
So I was like,
I thought that was a good way to handle it.
Maybe. Give me the fucking clothes you want me to wear, motherfucker.
If you need me to wear a more manly jacket, just give it to me. I mean, I'll...
She's gotta pull some alcohol. Okay, well, this one is named Clifford. It's a real sturdy, manly jacket. You know, that's why he has this name.
Clifford is where you go for that?
And like,
sorry. I
1940s.
seriously was going to say Butch, but it was already used. It was already used.
What were you
Fair
saying,
enough.
Nikki?
Fair enough.
Like it was made in like 1940, 50. Well, and the Butch thing. So here's something that's funny. My grandmother's name was, well, so her name is Billie Jean. And my grandfather used to call her Butch and just piss her off all the time. Because
oh my gosh.
her parents wanted boys. It was, you know, they were farmers. You have sons. Well, they ended up with all girls. So like only one girl had like a girl's name. The other two ended up with male names. And so my grandfather used to just, every time he wanted to dig at her, he'd, hey, Butch. Hey, Butch.
Oh my God.
Damn.
It's like a term of endearment, but it was a little dig too.
I might also, you married that Butch, by the way. Hey, yo.
I know.
And he
So,
and he would point that out, and he'd be like, "Yeah, and look at her, she's really good looking." On the same token, his favorite color was pink, and he would wear pink shirts everywhere. Pink, you know. And
He's so brave.
Yeah, he's so brave. He's so
Thank you,
brave.
Royce. I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was just like, it's getting darker now. Y'all are gonna see teeth. I better turn this light on.
Nobody would say anything to him because
Yeah.
he was like 400 pounds and a Native American man with huge hands, and they didn't know what to. But he'd show up at like meetings with senators and governors and stuff, and he was in pink, and all these other men are in black and, you know, gray.
He's like, I'm gonna rock this pink. I don't care what you think.
And he's like, real men wear pink. That's what he used to tell me when I was little. Real men wear pink, and I'm like, no, not now.
was like, I'll take that with me.
Okay.
Oh my God. All right, we have solved the world's problems, y'all.
Yeah.
We have for now.
For now.
For now.
Till
The
somebody else
system
can
is
play about it.
inventive.
Thank you.
And don't be touching people's hair. You white people out there, I know that you love ethnic hair, like you're so curious. This shit drives me crazy, and they do it in film and everywhere else. Don't touch the fucking hair. Don't touch my braids when my hair is braided. Whether it's the native or I've got extension, don't touch my damn hair.
Save it for drag. Don't touch the drag queen's hair either.
I really
Oh,
feel
God.
like,
For her wigs, her.
oh my goodness.
God.
I feel like the more you know should go across the screen right now. Do.
After
Yeah, wrap it up.
We'll have to hashtag it that when we.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big hashtag on TikTok, I am told, by people who TikTok.
Well, thank you guys for coming on tonight and sharing your piece of how you feel representation should be, how we should focus on it and start really making some changes. So thank you for sharing.
Of course.
And we're gonna and next week I'll have everything planned before
We'll be fine.
today.
We'll be fine.
It was perfect.
Yeah, I was like, we still had fun and we laughed and this worked and I'm good. Yeah. Yay!
Is this where we shamelessly plug ourselves?
Yes, it
Please
is.
do.
This is the wrap up time, so plug away.
All right. Well, I am in the Vortex Theater production of Twelfth Night. It is a bilingual production. It's been adapted for Spanish and English. Oh, shocker! I'm in drag in the show. It's for the next 2 weekends, and it's for free at the Veterans Memorial Park, Louisiana Gibson. So come, and we run on alternate nights. Hamlet's one night. We're the other night. Hamlet is being played by a woman. She's amazing. So if you go see Hamlet,
Awesome.
there's a female Hamlet,
cool.
and then ours is a bilingual production on 12th Night. And Chastity Beltoff, my little alter ego, does a monthly brunch at Red Door downtown, and our next one is September 26th. It's a drag brunch, and it is 70s disco themed. So, and you might see me on roller skates if you show up. So
There
it'll
you
be
go.
fun.
You know what? Wait, I was actually gonna say you ride. Wait, you were a clown. Yes, of course you know how to ride roller skates. So never mind.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, how about you, Nikki? You are up.
I am, let's see, I'm writing. I am working with families. So, look me up. YourConnectedCompass.com is the company's website. You can find me on Facebook. The book that we talked about earlier is Voices, Women Braving It All to Live Their Purpose. I'm in book 1. There's a new one in production in the works that they're working on with a new group of women. But yeah, the stories are really inspiring, and I love the women that came together for that. So in spite of everything else, like, yes, I still love them. I don't see their color either.
The shade.
The shade.
I only
No,
see
some of
pink.
them are like, I have to, when shit was popping off, like some of them came to me and they were like, is it okay if we come to you, if we ask you, because I want to be an anti-racist, and I want to be a better person, and I want to be a better ally. And so is it okay if we ask you? I appreciate you asking me first.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming to me like I'm that friend that's the safe one that you can come talk to about shit. Because some questions I can't answer. I can't answer how things are for Teresa. Like,
I can. She can't find her phone. She can't find her keys.
And she has 6 aliens living in her house eating everything.
Yeah, Brad calling me out. I've gotten better with my phone.
Have you?
I'm still working on my keys. There are moments, but it's usually late at night after I've had a drink.
I mean,
Not the same.
if you're in the house, who needs keys?
Exactly. I'll just find them in the morning.
Oh
Okay,
my
we
God.
gotta go. We gotta go. All right. Thank you
for
guys
having me. I
for
appreciate
taking
it.
part.
nice.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Say goodnight, Royce.
Good night, Royce.
Bye.